Have you ever felt that your room, the place that's supposed to be a sanctuary, has become the place that creates the most pressure? We work hard to buy the things we like, hoping to make our room look better. But then we add more, display more, and the exhaustion from the outside world doubles right inside our private space. The clutter outside is always a mirror of the clutter within. If your place of refuge can't breathe, then where will your mind find peace? Today, we're not talking about throwing things away. Japanese minimalism isn't strictness, but a journey to rediscover what truly matters. We will tour a Japanese minimalist room, but this isn't an interior tour. This is a philosophical journey. The 9 design elements you're about to explore are not just furniture or colors, but doors that open into a life that is slower, deeper, and more intentional. Get ready. Let's see what a Japanese minimalist room can teach us about freedom. 1. Wabi-Sabi, the beauty of imperfection. Imagine you step into a Japanese minimalist bedroom. Not many items, just a low bed, a simple wooden table, a small chair, a window catching sunlight. The wall is still a bit uneven, the tabletop has a few faint scratches, and the ceramic cup on the table carries a crack repaired with a thin line of gold. If you're used to perfection, you might wonder, why not replace it? But in Wabi-Sabi, it is those incomplete things that are the beauty. It is how the Japanese look at the marks of time and see within them the value of living. The scratch table has witnessed countless meals, cups of tea, conversations. The cup once broken was kept, cherished, because it has its own history. In modern life, we often rush to hide imperfections. A chipped wall is repainted, an old item is thrown away. And from that habit, we also get used to judging ourselves just because of small scratches. Wabi-Sabi invites us to do the opposite. Not ask, how do I become perfect? But ask, can I be at peace with this imperfection? In the Japanese room, people intentionally keep a bit of rawness. Brush marks on the wall, exposed wood grain, a slightly wrinkled linen curtain. They are like the wrinkles on the face of someone you love, not for criticism, but for familiarity. To feel that time has passed and life has truly happened here. Environmental psychology studies show natural materials and rustic textures help the body reduce stress and relax more easily. When you enter a space that doesn't demand perfection, you no longer need to strain yourself to be perfect. A small habit you can try right away. Next time you see an item that's a bit old, a bit scratched, pause for a few seconds. Place your hand on its surface and ask yourself, what moments has this object accompanied me through? Does it still serve me well? Can I appreciate it a little longer? You may realize what you need is not a new object, but a new way of seeing the old one. Tonight, turn off a few lights, leave just a small glow, and look around slowly. Choose a crack, a scratch, a chipped spot, an old item, and try smiling at it the way you smile at your own stumbles. Who knows, from the moment you stop demanding perfection, the little room may begin to become the place where you're allowed to be imperfect, and still enough, still worthy of being cherished. 2. The power of empty space. Imagine you step into a Japanese minimalist room. The sliding door gently opens, and what appears before you isn't furniture, but spaciousness. A clean, flat wooden floor, only a neatly placed low mattress. A white wall with a single ink painting. By the window, a small table with a ceramic vase and a dry branch. At first, you might feel it's a bit lacking. Lacking objects, lacking colors, lacking things to fill your eyes. But if you stand longer, breathe deeper, you will realize what is most powerfully present is the silent space between everything. In Japanese culture, is not meaningless emptiness, but the part of space that has a soul. It is the white space in a painting, the few silent seconds in a piece of music, the pause between two breaths. It is precisely that nothingness that makes what is there clearer and more worthy of appreciation. A room filled with things leaves the eyes without a place to rest. A packed schedule keeps the mind from finding a place to breathe. Environmental psychology studies show spaces with more emptiness, soft light, and fewer unnecessary details help reduce stress significantly. The empty space in a room is like the silence in music. Without it, the melody becomes suffocating. Perhaps you've had this habit too. Whenever you see an empty corner, you want to fill it. An empty shelf invites more books. An empty table calls for more decor. Even one free evening can make you uneasy, and you cram in more tasks. But that habit of filling every space is what exhausts you. Rooms feel cramped, schedule's overloaded, your mind's spinning, yet you still feel a lack of space to breathe for yourself. Ma teaches us to preserve a space reserved for calm. In a Japanese room, an empty wall, an empty patch of floor is intentionally kept. Not because there's nothing to put there yet, but because that emptiness is an important part of the design. A place where light enters, where the eyes rest, where the mind relaxes. You can start very simply. Choose one surface, a desk, a bedside table, a small shelf, and decide, this place will be allowed to remain empty. Put away everything unnecessary. Keep only 1-2 items you truly love. Then sit down and look at that empty space for a few minutes. You'll feel your body naturally release, like a few silent seconds in a song that make the melody deeper. It's not just physical space. You can also create ma in your schedule. Between 2 tasks, 2 meetings, give yourself 5 minutes with no screen, no replying, just breathing. Such short pauses have been proven to increase productivity and focus. Today, ask yourself, am I giving my life enough empty space to breathe? Who knows, from a corner of a table return to emptiness, or an evening where you didn't cram in anything else, you may begin to feel ma, the gentle empty space that brings you back to yourself. 3. Natural materials and earth tones. Try looking back at your room. Maybe it has brightly painted walls, vibrant patterned bed sheets, a few plastic decor items you bought on a whim. When you first brought them home, they looked cute, modern. But at the end of the day, have you ever felt like you still weren't truly being held? The Japanese choose another path. They let the room return to the colors of earth, of wood, of stone, of raw fabric. Not loud, not showy, just gentle, like a corner of a forest stepping into the home. Imagine stepping barefoot onto a natural wooden floor in the morning, the wood surface slightly rough, warm, its grain like traces of time. Next to it is a soft wool rug. On the bed is a set of light beige linen sheets, slightly wrinkled but smelling of sunlight. In the corner, a ceramic cup heavy in the hand, just rough enough, with an imperfect glaze. Wood, wool, ceramic, linen, stone, all come from nature. Each material carries a story. The tree that took years to grow, the stone that endured seasons of sun and rain. In the spirit of Zen and Wabi-Sabi, the Japanese cherish such things because they remind us that we too are only a part of nature. Not perfect, but alive. Studies on biophilic design show a room that uses more natural materials and earth tones helps the body reduce stress, steady the heart rate, and soften the mind. You don't need a deep forest. Just less plastic, less harsh color is enough to give peace a place to breathe. Changing habits doesn't mean redoing the entire room. Just gradually replace fake with real. Plastic shelves replaced with simple wooden ones. Thin glass cups replaced with ceramic cups you love. Patterned bedding replaced with beige, light brown, or olive green sets. You don't need to replace everything in one day. Follow the Kaizen spirit, little by little, consistently. Each time you tidy your room, ask yourself, does this item bring my room closer to nature or further from it? If it's further, maybe it's time to let it go. In the evening, turn off the bright lights and switch on a soft, warm light that pours gently onto the wood surface. Touch the wood grain, feel the edge of the linen blanket, hold the ceramic cup still slightly warm. You'll notice how different it feels from touching plastic or cold, shiny metal. It feels like being listened to rather than being exposed. Perhaps from the day you let your room return to the color of earth, the color of things that live slowly, last long, and have age, you will also begin to return closer to yourself. Because a Japanese minimalist room is not just a place to sleep, but a small piece of nature where your soul can take off its shoes and come home. 4. Neutral tones and colors from nature. Look around your current room. Bright white walls, vibrant patterned bed sheets, multicolored bolster pillows, neon decor, LED strips. Each item was cute, on trend when you bought it, but placed together, the room feels like it's speaking too loudly. At the end of the day, you can't quite understand why it's so hard to fully relax. In the spirit of Japanese minimalism, color is not meant to impress, but to be a backdrop for peace. They choose neutral tones, cream white, beige, light gray, earthy brown, and then accent them with natural colors, the sage green of leaves, the terracotta brown of clay, the gray-blue of the late afternoon sky. These colors don't fight for attention. They simply sit there, gentle as a steady breath. Color psychology studies show greens and muted blues help reduce anxiety. Warm beige and brown create a sense of safety. It's no coincidence that spas, hospitals, and meditation rooms rarely use bright colors. Color affects the nervous system every day, even when we don't notice. Either the room slows your heartbeat or it quietly exhausts you. We often have a habit. Whenever the room feels boring, we want to add more color. A multicolored painting, patterned bedding, a few decor pieces to fill the space. But the more we add, the more tired our eyes become. The Japanese don't reject color. They simply let color return to its true role, to be the foundation for calm. You can start very gently. Choose one section of your room, the bedside area or the wall behind your bed, and reset the palette. Replace patterned bedding with beige, light gray, or cream white. Then, add one small accent inspired by nature. A deep green pillow, a gray-blue throw blanket, or a brown ceramic vase by the bed. Next time you're about to buy decor, pause for a few seconds and ask, does this color bring me peace, or does it just excite me for 5 minutes? If it's only pretty for fun, choose a calmer version, closer to the colors of trees, earth, and stone. In the evening, turn off the white light and turn on a small warm lamp that pours light onto the neutral wall. The cream becomes warmer, the beige softer, and the corner of the room shifts from glaring brightness to a little nest inviting you in. In that light, everything seems to breathe slower. Maybe your minimalist journey doesn't start with getting rid of a lot of things, but simply from changing your palette from loud to gentle. Because sometimes, when the room is just a little easier on the eyes, your heart already has so much more space to rest. 5. Soft and diffused light. Most of our day happens under sharp light. Blue tube lights, phone screens, laptops, cold white ceiling lamps. Coming home, sometimes what greets you is a bedroom lit up like a supermarket. Convenient, clear, but not peaceful. In the spirit of Japanese minimalism, people don't just declutter objects, they also declutter the light. They rarely turn on one strong light source from the ceiling. Instead, the light is softened, passing through paper, through fabric, reflecting off the wall, like a warm layer of mist covering the room. Imagine stepping into a Japanese room at night. There's no harsh light shooting straight into your eyes, only a low paper lamp in the corner. Soft, warm light washing up the wall. Everything in the room becomes gentler. Shadows soften, and your body understands. This is the time to slow down. Sleep research shows blue light and strong brightness in the evening reduce melatonin, making it harder to sleep deeply. In contrast, warm and diffused light helps the brain receive the signal that it's the end of the day, bringing the body into rest mode. Changing the habit is very easy. When night falls, let the ceiling light rest. Use only 1 or 2 soft light sources, a fabric-shaded table lamp, a standing lamp with paper, or a low-watt warm bulb lightly filtered through a curtain. Most importantly, let the light spread, not stab into your eyes. In the morning, make use of natural light the way the Japanese do. Pull the curtain slowly, letting the light pass through a thin layer of fabric before entering the room. That light isn't harsh, but clear, softly muted, just enough for you to start the day with a calmer state of mind. In the tea ceremony, the tea room is often kept slightly dim, with light only from the doorway or a small paper lamp. The Japanese believe that beauty lies not only in what is clearly seen, but also in what rests in the shadows. Your bedroom is the same. It doesn't need to be evenly bright. Just a few small pools of light are enough. Tonight, try a little ritual. Turn off the harsh lights. Leave only 1 soft lamp. Sit on your bed, breathe deeply, and watch the warm light touch the wall, the edge of the blanket. Let your body whisper, "I don't have to run anymore." Who knows, from the way you become gentler with light, you might also learn to be gentler with yourself. Less harsh, less pressured, giving your heart a place to truly rest. 6. Shoji screens and Fusuma doors. You might be familiar with this arrangement, the bed in one place, the work desk in another, the wardrobe taking up an entire wall. Every corner stays fixed year after year. You work on the bed, eat on the bed, relax on the bed. There is no clear boundary between doing and resting, between being in the world and being with yourself. The Japanese, especially in small spaces, choose flexibility. They let the room transform, depending on each moment of living. Instead of fixed walls, they use shoji and fusuma, light sliding doors that can open, close, and create a new room in just a few seconds. Imagine standing in a Japanese room. In front of you is not a rigid brick wall, but shoji panels made of wood and soft washi paper. When sunlight touches them, the entire wall glows like a gentle screen. With one light pull, the shoji slides aside, and the room connects to the veranda or a small garden. Fusuma is more opaque, like a thin wall made of thick paper or fabric. When closed, it creates a private corner, a bedroom, a meditation nook, a space meant only for you. When opened, the room becomes wide again. Each slide of the door is a shift in living mode, from shared to private, from noise to quiet, from doing to resting. Designers believe that the ability to change a layout, even temporarily, helps people feel a sense of agency in their space. The room doesn't impose on you, it communicates with you. Just one sliding motion can be enough for the brain to understand. Now it's time to switch modes. You don't need to install shoji or fusuma right away. You can start with soft doors, a thick curtain to separate the bed from the workspace, a small folding screen to create a reading corner, or simply close the laptop, clear the desk, and turn your chair in another direction when you finish working. These small movements are your own version of sliding doors. At night, instead of working until exhaustion and collapsing straight onto the bed, you can create a gentle ritual. Stand up, tidy the desk, turn off the work light, pull the curtain or close the room door. Then turn on a soft light in the sleeping area. Let your body sense that you have just stepped from the workroom into the resting room, even without changing spaces. In the spirit of Japanese minimalism, shoji and fusuma are not just design, they are reminders that life doesn't need to be boxed in. You have the right to open, close, shrink, expand, with your room and with yourself. And who knows, from the moment you create these small sliding doors in your life, the room you live in may begin to listen to your rhythm, so that each time you end a day, you truly step inside yourself, in quiet. 7. Tokonoma, a small sacred corner. In many homes, every wall is packed. Photos, paintings, shelves, decor, notes. Each item has a little meaning, but standing together, the eyes don't know where to rest, and the mind has no place to truly be still. The Japanese choose the opposite. They reserve a corner that has almost nothing. That is tokonoma, a recessed niche, a small raised alcove, a quiet hollow. There they place only a single painting, a branch of flowers, a vase, or a calligraphy scroll. Everything else steps back to make room for silence. Imagine a simple tatami room. In a corner slightly raised above the floor, clean wooden surface, soft light falling at an angle. On it, only a hanging scroll painted with a few bamboo leaves and a ceramic vase holding a wildflower stem. Not loud, not showy, but when standing before the tokonoma, people naturally breathe slower. Studies on attention show, when the brain focuses on one point, the amount of noise in the mind decreases significantly. Tokonoma, in a very everyday sense, is the anchor of the room, a place for the eyes to pause and for the mind to follow. You can start very gently. Choose a small corner, a bit of wall, the end of a shelf, or an empty space on a table, and decide, this will be my tokonoma. Clear it. Then place there only one thing you truly want to see every day. A branch, a stone, a black and white photo, or a handwritten line of words. You don't need to explain to anyone why you chose it. What matters is that each time you pass by, you pause for a moment. Look. Breathe. Like a reminder that you are still here, and life is still happening, slowly, but present. In Japanese tradition, the tokonoma often changes with the seasons. Spring is a few new flowers, summer is bamboo, autumn is a pressed yellow leaf, winter is a small pine twig. You can do the same. Each month choose one thing you want to hold in your heart, a value, an intention, a feeling, and let it appear in this little corner. Tonight, look around your room and ask yourself, among all the things I've displayed, which corner truly brings me peace? If none yet, start with a very small tokonoma, one empty corner, one single object, one deep breath. Who knows, from that small corner, with almost nothing, you might find something you once dropped, the quiet space where your mind can be present. 8. Low and multifunctional furniture. Look back at your room. A high bed, a thick mattress, a large wardrobe, proper tables and chairs, shelves stacked on shelves. Everything stands tall, making you feel as if you're always a little above the ground, rarely touching the floor in a calm, grounded way. In Japanese minimalist rooms, people choose a different approach, lowering themselves closer to the earth. The bed is a futon laid on tatami, rolled up and stored away in the morning. The table is a low chabudai, surrounded by zabuton cushions. In cold seasons, there's the katatsu, a low table with a blanket and warmth underneath for the whole family to gather around. When the furniture sits low, the rhythm of life softens. When sitting on the floor, the body has to participate more. Back straight, legs folded, hands gently supporting. The movements of standing up and sitting down are no longer unconscious like leaving a high chair. They require a bit of attention and slowness. Studies show these small motions help blood circulation and reduce sluggishness. In Japan, even older adults maintain the habit of floor sitting, a form of natural exercise that doesn't require a gym. But more importantly, low furniture creates a soft connection between people. When everyone sits on the same floor level, eye to eye, no one is above, no one is below. Conversations become closer and less sharp-edged. You don't need to replace all your furniture. Just create a low sitting corner in your room, a soft rug, a few floor cushions, a small low table if you have one. Then set a small intention for yourself. Each day, do at least one activity in this space. Drink tea, read, journal, talk, or simply sit silently for a few minutes. If you currently do everything on your bed or high chair, eating, working, watching movies, try moving one activity down to this low corner. For example, before getting into bed at night, sit for a few minutes in the low corner and turn on a soft light, and let your body land before sleeping. These small transition rituals create clear boundaries between doing and resting. In the morning, right after waking up, try sitting on the floor for a few minutes. Let your feet touch the ground, stretch gently, feel the surface under your hands. If one day you want to try a Japanese-style futon, rolling it up each morning and giving the floor back its open space for daytime, you may realize your room is much larger than you imagined. The Japanese have a saying, "When you live close to the ground, your heart drifts less." Maybe your minimalist journey doesn't begin with any expensive item at all, but simply from sitting lower, closer to the ground, to your body, and to the people you love. Sometimes, to soften life, you don't need a big change. You just need to change the height of your chair. 9. Ikebana and natural elements. In the hurried rhythm of life, our rooms are filled with artificial things. Plastic boxes, decor bought on impulse, mementos kept because they have a reason. Each item has its own story, but when placed together, they create an invisible noise. The eyes see many things, but the heart doesn't rest on anything with a soul. In a Japanese minimalist room, people choose a different way. They invite nature in, but with real restraint. A single dry branch, 3 small flowers, a few river pebbles in a ceramic bowl. That is the spirit of Ikebana, the art of arranging flowers and leaves, but more deeply, the art of preserving life in its simplest form. Imagine this. Against a soft beige wall, a light, rustic ceramic vase. Inside it, only a curved leaf stem and a small white flower leaning slightly. The empty space around it is spacious. Not showy, but precisely because there is so little, every curve and every petal is clearly seen. Environmental psychology studies show even one natural element is enough to soothe the nervous system. You don't need an entire garden. A single intentionally placed branch can make the brain quietly understand that there is still life here. You can start very gently. Instead of buying another decor item to look nice, make room for a natural element that's real. A leaf branch picked up on your way home, a few small flowers from the market, a few round stones you like. Give them a stage, a corner of a table, a small shelf, or place them in the tokonoma you created. Don't fill it. Just 1 to 3 elements, then step back and look. You'll see. The fewer the objects, the clearer the feeling. You can also change them with the seasons. Spring, a few fresh sprigs. Summer, deep green leaves. Autumn, a pressed yellow leaf. Winter, a dry branch. Each change can be a small ritual to clear out the old and refresh from within. Try giving yourself 10-15 minutes each week for a date with nature. Turn off the music, set your phone aside, sit quietly, and trim a branch or flowers. Don't worry about whether it is artistically correct. Just watch where the stem wants to lean. The process itself is already meditation. Tonight, look around your room and ask yourself, In this room, is there any element of nature that appears with intention and respect yet? If not, step outside for a moment, onto the balcony, into the park. Choose a branch or a stone that feels like it belongs with you. Bring it home, rinse it clean, place it gently into a small vase. Who knows, from one very small flower, you may remember something much bigger, that you are also a part of nature. Simple, imperfect, but worthy of being cherished. And from that moment, your minimalist room may become the place where your soul blooms slowly from within. Going to the end of this journey, you may realize the 9 elements we just toured are not 9 interior design rules. They are like 9 small reminders, gently tapping your shoulder and asking, how are you living each day in your own room? Wabi-Sabi, Ma, natural materials, gentle tones, soft light, flexible shoji fusuma, quiet tokonoma, low furniture, and a deliberately placed flower. All are not just to make the room more beautiful. They are quietly creating something more important, a space where you can breathe slower and return to being yourself. Because today, we didn't really tour a Japanese minimalist room. We stepped into a mind that has been arranged, knowing how to keep emptiness, knowing how to say enough, knowing how to cherish the small, and daring to slow life down just a little. Japanese minimalism does not promise a perfect life. It only whispers something deeply human, that in that small room, there will always be a space of Ma where you can rest, be seen, be healed, and be accompanied by yourself day after day. Before leaving the video, ask yourself, which of these 9 elements touched you the most? Which habit do you want to start changing first? Share it in the comments. Who knows, your story might give someone else the courage to begin. And if you feel you found a bit of peace, please like and subscribe so we can meet again on the next journeys. Small invitations for you to pause, take a deep breath, and live one beat slower.